Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your host, Jay, and you're watching another live episode right here in our studios from Inside Out. Welcome to another edition of our roundtable. Yep, absolutely. And we're here to talk about the updated information when it comes to the Mendez brothers. We got a lot of juicy details and information regarding this update that we've talked about before right here on this channel. So stick around, and hope you guys appreciate the updated information when it comes to this case and so much more. With that said, let's get into it. Welcome, everybody, to another live edition from Inside Out. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do very much appreciate it. And as you guys can see in the title description, we're going to be talking about the Mendez brothers and all the updated information that we have on it for the current situation that they're going through. Before we get into the topic tonight for all the data and whatnot, I have an update for you guys besides what we're going to be showing you. Unfortunately, our co-host Tammy, the one that you see helping do the show every Wednesday and Friday, unfortunately is suffering through some health issues and whatnot that I can't go into too much detail here unless she wants it to be put out there. But anyways, if I can get every single one of you guys that are tuning in watching this right now to say a few prayers for our co-host Tammy, because she's going through a lot right now and she needs a major healing process and just a massive amount of positivity coming her way. She's going through a lot right now, and her health is, not as great as it should be, respectfully. So if you guys could please send some prayers to our co-host Tammy with what's going on with her over there, her neck of the woods, because she definitely needs it. But with that, that's the reason why you're not going to see her up on the show tonight. I gave her the night off because her health is obviously not more important than this. All right. So much thoughts and prayers are going towards Tammy for that and everything. And then, of course, we got everybody in the chat now saying that. So let's go ahead and get the chat real quick before we go any further. We got our good friend Bert. Thank you so much for being here, Bert. I appreciate it. As he said, hello, Jay. Absolutely. It's good to see you, my friend. And I hope you're doing okay in your neck of the woods over there. But anyways, welcome to the show. And of course, we got our good friend Vicky too, also, who's here. Vicky Bailey. Thank you so much, Vicky, for being here. I do appreciate you too, as always. And she said this: hi, everyone. Hope you had a good day. Yeah, for the most part, it was pretty eventful. I got some things done that I've been putting off for a while. Hung up some Christmas lights, that kind of thing. It is December. I did what I can. Nonetheless, Vicky also said this in the chat: praying for Tammy. Absolutely. So again, everybody that's here that could please send some prayers towards her prayers for her for fast healing so she can get whatever she's got going on taken care of. Anyways, our thoughts and prayers are for you, Tammy, and I hope you get well. All right. And then, of course, Bert said this: lots of love. Absolutely. All right. Well, that being said, of course, there are other people in here that you can't see in the chat that are coming from different places that I'm streaming off of. So I do appreciate you guys being over there too as well. All right. So for right now, as you guys know, we're going to be talking about the Mendez brothers case and all the interesting facts and data that go along with that. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, this is a 30-year-old plus case. This was back in, I want to say, 94 era. 94, 95 era. And for some back information for you guys, these brothers unalived their parent. But now new information is coming forward saying that they shouldn't do any time because they were basically abused children. Yeah, sounds so much of a quinky dink on my family side and all that I believe that this is going to be a major milestone for not just the Mendez brothers, but for other cases similar to this. And you guys are going to hopefully make sense of it here tonight with the data up on the screen. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get into the data real quick on the screen to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, our good friend Cynthia. What's going on, Cynthia? Thank you, my sweetie, for being here. I appreciate it. She said, hello, everyone. Absolutely. Hope you're doing good and you're okay over there in your neck of the woods and your health is doing better. Anyways, welcome aboard. Thanks for being here. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the data. I got to get the settings, set up here real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of videos that is going to portray the information that you're going to see here tonight. So I hope you guys really appreciate it. Here's the first video I want to show you guys tonight. All right. This is coming from, again, I got to verbalize this because you know how people get. This is coming from CNN. Right there on your screen. So again, all credit, whatnot, goes to CNN for putting this on and, sharing this information and data. As you guys can see, here's the title description of this video. It says this: Judge delays resentencing hearing for Mendez brothers. Don't let that get you discouraged. Play the video. And then, of course, I got another video that I want to share with you guys on the same thing, so bear with me on that. So let's go ahead and get into the video on that real quick. Scroll down. And I can't do nothing, guys, unfortunately, with this big ad up in here. It won't disappear, so it is what it is when it comes to the video. But again, all credit and whatnot goes to CNN. Let's go ahead and play the video, and you guys can make your own assumption on this. Here it is. If it will play. It's just going to spin, isn't it?
Spend less time making cocktails and more time making memories.
Can't do nothing with the commercials, guys.
Premium cocktails at the touch of a button.
Get our best holiday deal now, only at Bartesian.com/deals.
Nick, tell us more about what this was like.
Well, we were, of course, expecting to see the Menendez brothers together in a courtroom for the first time in nearly 30 years. That didn't happen, apparently, because of a glitch with the video link up. They are currently incarcerated in San Diego. This hearing today is up here in Los Angeles. We did hear them speak. They were asked, can you see, can you hear what's happening in the court? They said, yep, we can. And then one of the brothers said, while this whole snafu was going on with the video link, one of the brothers then said afterwards, we've had video access all along, which raised a little bit of a laugh. After that, it became very, very somber. The boys' two aunts, Jose, the father, Jose's sister, she testified that she believes the boys have done their time, that 35 years is a long time, and that she feels that they should be released. The other aunt, Aunt Joan, who is the sister of Kitty, the mother, she also said that the boys should be released. I'm going to read you some of their exact quotes from inside the courtroom. There are, of course, no cameras inside the court. So this is first Kitty's sister. She said, no child should have to endure what Eric and Lyle did. It breaks my heart that my sister Kitty knew but did nothing about it. It's time for them to come home. No children should have to live in fear day by day that their dad would come and rape them. Now, Aunt Terry, who is Jose's brother, Jose's sister, said, I would like to be able to hug them and see them not going to jail. Now, of course, the boys have always said that they did, in fact, kill their parents with shotguns in their home in Beverly Hills in 1989. The question has always been why. The prosecution said the boys wanted their parents' huge estate. They wanted the money. The boys themselves said that they had suffered years of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse at the hands of their father, and that their mother knew. The boys said that they believed that they were in imminent danger of perhaps death themselves, and that is why they killed their parents. Now, of course, this case just really grabbed the public attention, both here in the United States and overseas at the time. As I mentioned, it's been nearly 30 years since we've seen the boys, since they were convicted. There were, of course, TV shows. There was a Peacock documentary in 2023 which suggested that a member of a boy band had also been molested, abused by Jose Menendez. That led to the boys' lawyers, filing to say, listen, there's new evidence here. There's also a letter that Eric wrote to his cousin suggesting abuse. The lawyers, were asking for the case to be reopened. And then, of course, the outgoing district attorney, the now outgoing district attorney here in LA, said that he wanted resentencing. We're now going to have to wait until the end of January to find out if and when those boys might actually be let out of jail after all this time.
And then you guys go. And then, of course, I'm going to get out of this. Let me stop that real quick and get back into the studio real quick. So there you guys go. And then that's just one video. Now you can see just from that interview and that speaking point on that journalist there, what happened inside the home. All right. And again, it's absolutely mind-boggling to make you guys realize what's going on. And it's such a similar case to my locked up loved one. Vicky in the comment said this: 35 years is a long time. Absolutely. That's the same damn amount of time, give or take some, a little bit less, as my locked up loved one served. My sibling has been down since 1994. So not much of a difference there really at all. And it's a very sad situation. And my sibling's case is similar to the Mendez brothers. Now, mind you, again, guys, keep in mind, for your guys' information, if the Mendez brother gets some kind of positive play out of this, or they get paroled and they don't have to serve any more time, what does this mean for others, including my locked up loved one? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Number one, because the cases are basically damn near close to each other when it comes to the Mendez brothers and my sibling due to child abuse. And I'm not going to go into details what kind of child abuse, because I endured the same kind of child abuse. So my locked up loved one is an SA survivor, and I am also an SA survivor, just for the record. A lot of confusion going around and whatnot, saying that I'm making all that up and never happened. Well, if you weren't in my home, for the ones that are saying that, you weren't there, and it did happen. And my abuser is still running free, and that didn't pay a damn bit of time or punishment for it. Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, with that being said, what does that mean for my locked up loved one for you guys if you're asking? And Trey Stone's in here. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for being here, Trey. Appreciate you. So what does this mean for others, including mine? Well, if my sister gets the same type of positivity, if you will, like the Mendez brothers are getting, then there's going to be some positivity, and hopefully she'll be able to come home too and be paroled or something along those lines. So it all depends, guys, on what happens with this case. So if the Mendez brothers gets some positivity or some type of love when it comes to this case, it's going to open the door for everybody else. So this is beneficial, not just for them, but for all of us. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns with this topic tonight, put it in the chat, and I'll do what I can to put it up on the screen and get involved with you guys tonight. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, especially when it comes to Trey and others, our co-host Tammy, who usually helps out with the podcast Wednesdays and Fridays, due to health reasons and health issues, she can't be here tonight. So again, all prayers go to her for fast healing. So that's just an update with Tammy if you're wondering where she's at. All right. But with that, let's go ahead and show you guys now real quick the other video. But before I do, I want your guys' input on this. What do you guys think should happen here? Do you think the Mendez brothers should be released and do no more time and be done with it? Or should they be locked up basically for the rest of their life and key thrown away? Where do you guys stand on this? Put your guys' comments and whatnot in the chat and let me know. We can open it up and have a nice little debate before the night's out. But I would really like to know what you guys think as a whole. Put your opinions, thoughts, comments, whatever you have, and put it in the chat. Trey Stone said this. Let me put it up on the screen. I hate that prisoners have no way to improve their lot in life. Yeah, absolutely. There is no parole in the Fed. Oh, no, that doesn't come to no surprise to me at all. Bring back federal parole. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Why is the state special, but the feds isn't? I don't understand any of that. But thanks for sharing that, Trey. I appreciate you, brother. What about others? Bert, what do you think about this case? Do you think they should be freed, get paroled? Do you think they should do the rest of their time? What's your take on that? Same question for Vicky. Where do you stand on this? Even though you said 35 years is way too long, absolutely. And again, all questions are the same for everybody. Cynthia said this in the chat just now. Come in. She said this: I think they served enough time already. Absolutely, and so did my locked up loved one. Again, for the record, my locked up loved one's been down and locked away since 1994. Yeah, I'd say it's time. It's time to come home. She's overstayed her stay, overdone her sentence, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm hoping that, from a positive note, I'll say this: I'm hoping the Mendez brothers get some true justice. I think that kids that get abused should not do any time. They were screaming for help and no one listened to them. And you heard it in the video. I'm not making that up. You heard it right there. They were abused massively, hard, and everything else in the parents' home. And for what? Right? So I think they should be released. They should never have done any time at all, period. Trey Stone said this: I think all cases should be reevaluated after 5 years to see how they are doing. I agree. Yes, I agree. Even maybe less than that. But I agree with what you're saying there, Trey, and here's why I agree. Number one, not everybody is the same person as they were in 1994 and so forth. I can guarantee you my locked up loved one's not the same person she was in 1994. Absolutely not. And then, of course, let's see more chats coming in here, guys, real quick. Vicky said this, and welcome in, Vicky. I think they have done enough time. They were abused. Everyone has a breaking point. Absolutely. I hope the judge rules in their favor. Absolutely. Me too. Absolutely. And then, of course, my good friend Bert, he says, honestly, I don't know. And that's okay. Not everybody has kept tabs or is up to date on what this case is about and what happened. I don't hold nothing against you, my friend. Much love and respect for you. It is what it is. And one more before we go into the next video, guys. I hope you guys appreciate this podcast tonight. Hit and smash the like button, guys, and put me out there, would you? I appreciate it. Cynthia said this. Same with the Trevino brothers here in Texas. Yeah. See, there again, keep in mind, whatever happens to this case when it comes to the Mendez brothers case, it's going to open a whole, ball of wax for other cases in similar situations. Absolutely. This is a game changer. This is a plus. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Absolutely it is. Bert said this in the chat real quick. I believe their cases should be brought back in court. Absolutely. Thank you, Bert. I agree with you. Not, again, like I said before, if you guys remember, as I said before, not all people are the same as they were in, like, for example, 1984, 85, or 1994. You guys have heard me speak on this, and here's a little bit more detail why I say this, because, again, this is backed up by data and science and other research that's out there, so don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. This is true. The human brain, as you guys know, and I've spoke on this before, the human brain is not fully developed until age 25. How old were they? 19, 18. How old was my locked up loved one? 19. Just because the state classifies you as a quote unquote adult at 18 doesn't mean you are an adult. Because if that was the case, keep in mind, if you are classified as an adult once you turn 18 years old, then you should be able to do all adult things. Go to the bar, buy smokes, gamble. No, you can't do those things until at least 21 for drinking and going to the bar, buying alcohol. Isn't that funny? The law says you got to be 21 to, purchase alcohol beverages or go to the bar. But wait a minute, the state classifies you as an 18-year-old adult. Something doesn't make sense there. So that needs to be revised. That needs to be changed. I think an adult that turns into an adult is 25. And that's backed up by data and research to, back up my claim. When you're age 25, now you are classified as an adult, not this 18-year-old crap. 18, no, you're not. 19, no, and so forth. And again, Bert said this. Bert said, if the evidence was only circumstances, should not be convicted. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, Bert. Thank you so much for your comment. Real quick, before we show the next video of this topic tonight, Cynthia said this: it doesn't make it okay, but change needs to start with the law system instead of people taking it into their own hands. Absolutely correct. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to this comment right here, you know, there's a good way and a bad way about doing things, right? And again, she says it doesn't make it okay. No, it doesn't. I don't condone what they did. But holy crap, if that's not screaming for help, what is? They were literally screaming, hey, I'm being abused over here. Why don't you listen to me? Why doesn't nobody believe me? And the evidence was there. People knew about this. Right? But no, it all gets shoved under the rug. Just like with my siblings' case. No one listened. No one wanted to take the time out and go, what's going on? What happened? Who did what? You know, that kind of thing. Oh, we don't believe you. You're lying. You know, you hear it all the time. Absolutely. Vicky said this, and she goes, I agree, Cynthia. Yeah, I do too. Absolutely. Thank you, Vicky. Spot on. You guys are all spot on. This case should be done and over with, and it should be paroled, and that's that. Be done with it. It's a no-brainer. All right, let's go ahead and show the other video, and then, of course, at the tail end of that video, and I hope it makes sense, and I hope this is appreciated for all of you that are here tonight. We're going to open this up for the panel, open up the chat, and let's get your opinions in here after we show this last video. Because again, I wish nothing but absolute positivity and luck for these guys. They deserve true justice. With that, let's go ahead and do the share screen one more time and show you guys this video. Again, all credit goes to NBC News for putting this on. Again, verbalized it, repeat, all credit and whatnot goes to NBC News for putting this on. Thank you, guys. And the title is Mendez Brothers Bid to Be Freed. Where does their resentencing effort stand? Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and show that now.
Liz Kreutz joins us. Liz, what more do we know?
Well, Lester, it's now essentially impossible that the Menendez brothers are going to be out of prison by Christmas as their attorneys were hoping for. That's because the judge here has postponed their key resentencing hearing until next year, citing in part respect for the new district attorney who takes office next week, and has said he wants to make his own recommendation in this case, which could differ from the outgoing DAs. Now, here at the status hearing today, two of the Menendez brothers' elderly aunts gave emotional testimony in support of the brothers. Ultimately, though, it's going to come down to whether or not a judge believes the brothers were sexually abused, and if so, whether or not he then believes they should get a lighter sentence. The original prosecutor on the case has maintained that the alleged abuse does not justify the murders. Now, here in court, we had expected to see Eric and Lyle come virtually from prison, appear virtually from prison by Zoom. That didn't end up happening because of technical difficulties. So the next time we could now see them will be at their hearing scheduled now for January 30th. Lester?
There's breaking news from Northern California where there was a shooting.
Hold on. Sorry about that. Anyways, so there you guys go with that. So again, we got a lot of information coming out. We got different news organizations picking this up, and we got different spins and narratives to the situation. And I'm telling you right now, let's be honest. If they get some play, they get paroled, they get released. Game changer for a lot of us. Let's welcome our good friend Degaudy Girl. She's back in here. It's been a while since we've seen you. Hope you're doing okay in your neck of the woods. Anyways, welcome in. She goes, hi, everyone from Oz. Yeah, absolutely. Well, how you doing, Degaudy Girl? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Real quick, Vicky said this in the chat. The mother knew if she was alive, she'd be in prison. Absolutely. Tit for tat. And then I said this. Hey, Degaudy Girl. Welcome in. My good friend Redeemin. What's going on, Redeemin? Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're doing good. Honestly, they should have been paroled, granted the parents were abusive and neglectful. Absolutely. You guys remember me saying it before, right? It starts in the home. It literally starts in the home. Kids learn what they live, and then you wonder why kids act up the way they do and why kids rebel and do what they do, like these Mendez brothers did, and it's funny. It's amazing. No one ever gets help anymore. No one ever takes asking for help seriously. It's either embarrassing or something along those lines. The Gotti Girl said this. Hi, Jay. Hope you're well. I'm alive. That's what counts. I'm still breathing. But anyways, thank you so much, the Gotti Girl, for asking. I appreciate it. The Gotti Girl said, doing great. Thanks. Cool. That's awesome. Redeemin said this. Plus, the mom knew but chose to let this keep doing. Yeah, absolutely. See, when somebody else knows and they don't do nothing about it, you're just as guilty. Absolutely. And then let's see. Let's do this one more time. Redeemin said, "Sup? Yep. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Oh, my good friend Debbie Sapp. Hey, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're doing good, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I meant to give you a buzz, but I got tied up and so busy on my end that I forget sometimes. Sometimes I would forget my head if it wasn't screwed on tight. But anyways, welcome in, Debbie. How you doing? Thank you so much for being here. And then the Gotti goes to this. So hope they are freed. Yeah, I do agree. Man, everybody's on the same page here when it comes to this case, and I'm so glad that people can see that. I asked questions before you got in here, Gotti Girl, about how certain people felt about it. Should they continue to do the rest of their time, or should they be released? And you obviously say right there they should be freed. Absolutely. Redeemin said this in the chat. No one wants to help heal those they've wronged. Absolutely. Why? Redeemin, if you have the answer to that question, I'm curious on your answer on that. Why is that, do you think? Why do you think no one wants to heal those that have wronged? Awesome question. Cynthia said this, not to mention how real mental health is. Oh, that's another one right there. Another fact. Thank you, Cynthia, for bringing that up, because it just opens the door for other topics and debates. To be honest with you, mental health also gets shoved under the rug, believe it or not. And it does not get the attention that it deserves. And let's be honest, everybody suffers from some type, whether big, small, medium, of some type of mental condition. Excuse me. And it's a damn shame. Excuse my French, guys. It's a damn shame that this is happening the way it is. My good friend Gotti Girl says this real quick. Too often mothers look away because they either just can't deal with it, they don't believe it, or are afraid of the consequences. I agree. Same thing with my locked up loved one. Same damn thing. Excuse my French, Trey. Absolutely true. Let me get there it is. Bert said this. I know some you boys who abused in Arkansas were convicted. Yeah. See, it happens everywhere. It shouldn't be. Thank you, Bert. Debbie said this. Welcome in, Debbie. Should have never been convicted. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. My locked up loved one should never been convicted. If you guys remember her case, she unalived my grandfather back in 1994 due to possible abuse. I was being abused in the home. But I didn't unalive somebody because mentally I was a lot stronger and can deal with it. I'm dealing with it now, so it is what it is. Some people just don't know how to deal with the bull crap. So I don't hold any grudge or animosity against my locked up loved one for that. It is what it is. Bert said this, strict parents is no excuse. My parents were strict, massively strict. Absolutely, Bert. Vicky said this, true. Absolutely. Thank you, Vicky. The Gotti Girl said this, huge underlying issue. Yeah, absolutely it is. But again, it gets shoved under the rug like everything else. Bert said this, but abuse is wrong. It is wrong. But I look at it like this. If you get abused as a child, should you be punished for what you did to somebody else? due to the fact of abuse, no, I think you should get help. There should be no punishment there because it's not your fault. So that's where I stand in it. And then, of course, Bert said this too. What was you loved one locked up for? My locked up loved one is in for unaliving my grandfather back in 1994. Yep, absolutely. And she's been down ever since. And that's what, 30-something years? Same thing as the Mendez brothers, pretty much. The Gotti Girl said this. So much hate. Absolutely. Redeemin said this. I'll try Pride. They think their life don't matter. Power is socially acceptable at the time. Pride, yeah. Correct. 100%. The Gotti Girl said this real quick, guys. In agreement, absolutely. And then Vicky said, you should I. I'm not sure what she's talking about there, but nonetheless, Vicky said mental health. Yes, mental health is a major issue today. We all have some type of mental health issues. Nothing. Now, I don't have anything severe, but I do have a disability. I was diagnosed of it with. Let's see, when was it? I was diagnosed with it back in 1995. Go figure. Debbie said this real quick. Most states don't believe in mental health. Oh, I agree. I know. Oh, I know. I think a majority of them do. Not if all 50 states do, but thank you, Debbie. Trey Stone said this. All criminals and crimes are equal. Yeah, yeah. But they get the same range with no consideration for the reasons. Yeah, absolutely. They assume your motive. They don't ask. Sentences should be unique and revisited. Absolutely. That's the reason why in Washington State, where I'm originally from, believe it or not, guys, they actually have sentencing guidelines. And I think there's sentencing guidelines in other states too as well. But they go by the, how do I say this? They go by the type of crime that it is. Does that make sense? So if your crime is like my siblings unaliving somebody, then that's pretty high. That's a pretty high crime, and you can get a long time locked up for that, depending on, again, the severity and all that. So, but it goes by the severity of the crime. I agree with what you're saying there, Trey. Thank you so much anyways. Redeemin said this. Everyone is abused. No one wants to be labeled and abusive. No, I agree. I understand that. Unfortunately, thanks to our lawmakers and other people, they look at it differently. They don't care. With that, Redeemin also said this. Everyone deserves to be helped. I agree. But again, we got pride, as you said earlier, Redeemin. We got other factors in the way that causes these things to not happen. How often do you ever hear, even for today's standards, how often do you ever hear somebody walk up to somebody and say, hey, I need some help. I need help. You don't hear it much. It's hard to ask for help for whatever the reason is. Anyways, the Gotti Girl got back in here and said this. Fortunately, there appears to be plenty of public support for release of the brothers. Absolutely there is. It's amazing how there is now, but it wasn't back then when they first fell. Right? And keep in mind, 1984 and I would say 1994-95 era. Do you guys remember this? Thanks to you-know-who. And I'm not going to try to get political here. Do you guys remember the Get Tough on Crime bill? Do you guys remember that? In the chat, how many of you in the chat remember, with a thumbs up, remember Get Tough on Crime bill? Who passed that Get Tough on Crime bill? Yeah, the current person that's in the White House right now. Absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. And he's the one that passed that bill when he was I think he was running for office. Anyways, Vicky said this. True, Cynthia. Absolutely. And they got Redeemin coming back in here and saying, who wants to learn what is abuse defined? Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And then the Gotti girl gets back in here and says, hey, does that 3 strikes law still apply in the States? In Washington State, it does. It sure does. I got 1 strike already on my record because I'm from Washington State on the West Coast, and they do. Yes, you're correct, the Gotti girl. Great question and comment. Thank you. The 3 strikes outlaw is still in Washington State. Now, I don't know other states have it, but in Washington State, they do. Absolutely. And Vicky gets in here and says, never. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Vicky. And Debbie said this. They call PRR as 3 strikes. Yep. Thank you, Debbie. Redeeming Patriot said, Trey, I officially want to recruit you to Jay and my organization. Yeah, Trey needs to come on into that. I agree. He would be a great asset. Absolutely. Or whoever else wants to join. Redeeming, can you get the link to that and put it in the chat? I believe you are a mod. You can send it in there. Put the link so people can join our organization. I'd love to see people in there. The Gotti girl says this: society has come to a greater understanding of abuse, though we still have a way to go yet. Yeah, absolutely we do. But you can't give up hope, and you can't give up in any way, shape, or form because change is coming. And then Cynthia said, imagine that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Cynthia. Imagine that. We always say that. Trey Stone said this, hashtag there are no righteous judges. No, that's an understatement. Thank you, Trey. Vicky said this, it does in Michigan. Wow. I'm not surprised. The Gotti girl said this, does each strike remain for your lifetime or go off the books at some point? From my understanding, especially in Washington State, the Gotti girl, great question. Thank you so much for your question. I would have to say that once you get a strike, it stays on. You get another one, it stays on. And if you get a third one, you're done. You're cooked. You're never going to get out. So, so I got 1 because my robbery case is a strike. And believe it or not, it stays on there. And if I get 2 more and get locked up, I'll never get out again. I'm locked up for life under the 3 strike, you're outlaw. Yeah. And then Trey Stone said this, I'll look into it, Redeeming. Absolutely. So again, if you guys are just tuning in late, for everybody that's here, and I appreciate you guys being here. There's 24 people in here tonight. Wow. Thank you guys. Nonetheless, the Menendez brothers, we all know, guys, we absolutely all know what's going to happen with this case. Where do I stand in it? I'll say this. Me personally, I see them coming home. I don't know why, but I do. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll eat my own words. But I do see them coming home. And unfortunately, it's going to open more doors for a lot of other individuals, such as my locked up loved one, for future hearings or future cases. This will be a case law and be used in argument for their cases. So I'm hoping that this does happen. These guys deserve freedom, and they also deserve true, quote unquote, justice. Do you agree? These people should never have served any time, to be honest with you. The person that should have served time was the parent, the father, like my father. My father should have served time for doing what he did to me and my sibling. No, he's back at home, sitting in that home, scot-free, and not worrying about a shitting thing. But I look at it like this. Whether anything happens down here on earth is one thing. But there's one thing that he will not be able to escape. The day he takes his last breath is the day he's going to meet his maker. And he's going to have to answer to that, if you believe in that. I do. I believe in heaven. I believe in hell. And that's where I stand in it. My good friend Debbie said this. Look at the Gypsy Rose case. Yeah, I totally agree. That's an interesting one. That's a whole different podcast just in itself, guys, when it comes to Gypsy Rose and all of that. I'm all clear across the board on that one. That one is that's a weird case. But it's still abuse. Absolutely. Redeeming said this, abuse is constant assault and battery and severe mistreatment and cruelty to others, or to use some someone for personal use constant. Yeah, absolutely it is. It's like a personal punching bag, but in all the wrong areas, if you get my drift. It happens all the time. Again, Degati Girl gets in here and says this. Yep, set that president. Yeah, absolutely. Redeemin put the information to join our little group that we have. There it is, right there on your screen, guys. Feel free to please go check it out. That's all of you if you want to. We do a lot of good research and data sharing over there. We mingle, and there's no judgment. No judgment. It's another safe place to be. So, feel free to, come on over there and feel free to be in there and make it your home, if that makes sense. So there's the link to that, guys. Go check it out and join. Thank you, Redeemin. And join the group if you want to. No obligation. Vicky said this, I hope they get to come home, but it will be hard for them. Absolutely it will. It's a major adjustment. So many things have changed since 1984, 85 era, so it's going to be a major culture shock for them. Absolutely. Redeemin said, join us. Absolutely. Come on in, guys. Don't be afraid. Vicky said this, compared to back then. Absolutely correct. Thank you, Vicky. And Vicky, I don't know if it was you that made a comment in one of my previous videos I posted. Somebody asked if I had hoodies up for grabs. I do. It's in my store. The link's on my channel. If you guys want to go over there and hit that link and get yourself a hoodie to stay warm for this winter, we're already cold. It's cold here in Florida. Grab a hoodie. They're there. They're available, and I'll show that here in a minute before their show's out. Anyways, Redeemin said this, let them go. Their hand was forced. Absolutely, I agree. Redeemin said this will be an opportunity for the past and current and future victim turned offenders. I agree. Redeemin said this, fuck your dad, no offense. He's going to get life. Okay, excuse the language. Absolutely, Redeemin. No, you're good. No worries. I understand that. Yeah, I agree. Karma will come around and get him. Absolutely. But anyways, thank you so much for that. I appreciate your feelings on that. Anyways, Bert said that Jay needs his butt jacked. Thank you, Bert. I feel the love from you tonight. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. Vicky said this. Yes, it was me. Okay, Vicky. Yes. But so stand by before you go. Let me go ahead and show you that so you know how to navigate it real quick. Let me get it set up before we go, guys. Just bear with me 1 second, please. All right. I should have had it ready before, but I didn't. All right. So what I'll do is come back to the studio real quick. So Vicky, this is for you, so you can know how to navigate my channel and find the store if you haven't already. You should have the store, but anyway, just for shits and giggles, if you don't have it, let me go ahead and show you how to navigate this real quick. You got to go to my channel, which you already belong to. Here's my channel, Vicky, if you can see this. All right. And if you click right here where it says add one more link, and one more link where it's all right here. All right. I'm going to click that. Boom. All right. And it takes you to what is called the about section of my channel. If you go all the way down, you'll see it right there. There's the link for my store. It's from Inside Out Network, LLC, and the store's name is called Fourth Wall. So let me click that. If you click that, that'll take you to the store page. And here it is. All right. And you scroll all the way down. You should come across the hoodie, which is right there. There's the hoodie. Okay. This is what it looks like. It's got the logo there on the front. Okay. And it comes with all these sizes: small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, and 3X. Unfortunately, it does not have anything above 3X. So I do apologize for the bigger man. I can't control that unless I get one specially made somewhere else out here in town. But anyways, there it is. That's what it looks like. And it's full-fledged. I hope you guys appreciate that. Anyways, there's that. And the guy girl said this real quick in the chat. That hat is a good look for you, by the way. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Not many people are a big fan of it. I guess they have their own opinions and whatnot, but it is what it is. Redeeman said this: we want to build an organization to build schools to ensure that install common sense. Yep, because we lost all common sense and decency along with boundaries and consent. I agree. I think that would be an awesome school. Thank you, Redeeman. Debbie said this: when you get a chance, give me a call. Absolutely, Debbie. I'll try to give you a buzz after the show if you're still up. Can I give you a buzz after the show? Let me know in the chat. And then Vicky said this: cool. And then Vicky said on it. All right. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate you showing your support over there. From what I gather, it's a very, very comfortable and warm hoodie. It should keep you warm in the winter. And it's soft. It's got like a soft material inside, so you should be okay with that. With that being said, thank you guys so much. All right, so Debbie, real quick, you said give me a call, or I'll give you a call when the show's over. Is that okay? You're going to be up? I don't want to keep you up because the show is almost over anyways. But this is where everybody gets a lot. Okay, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. She said yes. All right. So everybody in the chat tonight, before we go, or before I bounce anyways, does any of you have any comments, questions, concerns? Let me know. Bert said this: well, I believe parents need to have active role raising kids. Oh, gee, that's another podcast just in itself, which I spoke on earlier in the podcast. Kids learn what they live. That's not just a statement or saying. That's true. Happens all the time. If you don't raise your kids correctly with respect, dignity, pride, decency, whatever, then what kind of kid do you think is going to come out of that? It's a no-brainer. Raise your kids correctly by decent standards, and you should, by chance, get a decent kid. But yeah, I totally agree with that. It starts in the home. Not an understatement. The Gotti Girl said this: hi, Vicky. Yeah. Of course, I want to say hi to everybody else too that are not in the chat that you guys can't see, because I am streaming on other platforms too as well. And the comments are over there that you won't see here on YouTube. That's just weird how they do that. Oh, my good friend John Doe is in here. What's going on, Joe? John, excuse me. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you too as well. Never too late to come in here to say hi, but I appreciate you being here. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and hope you're doing good over your neck of the woods. Nice to see you, John. And then the Gotti Girl said this: so true, Bert. Absolutely. And Vicky said hi to you. So before we go, and then of course what I'm going to do real quick, just so John Doe said this: crap hit the fan in New York. John, get a hold of me later in a private chat and let me know what that's about. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe I've just been so busy I haven't been paying attention, but let me know what you're talking about there, John. I appreciate it. I'm in the dark on that one. Anyways, so before we go, if you guys need to get a hold of me, don't know how, here's your opportunity to do so. Bottom ticker, there's the ticker. All right, reach out to me, guys. voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. All right, if you need to get a hold of me after the chat or after these lives are over, get a hold of me. voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com, and let me know what your issue is or whatnot. If it's prison related, I can do what I can to answer it, or I'll steer you in the right direction and send you to somebody that can. We're that equipped. So there it is. But sorry, everything's going weird over here on my. Okay, never mind. All right, Cynthia said this. I'm having connection issues. Anyways, Cynthia said this. I agreed and disagreed on that one. I raised my boys the best I could on my own, but yet look at where my son is now. I agree. And I don't want you to take what I say to heart or seriously, because again, when I say statements like that, this is nothing against you, Cynthia. What I'm saying is sometimes even the parents can't reach the kid because you can't always be there for the kid, like in the home. When I say it starts in the home, I'm saying younger, not, adulthood or teenage, because they're going to go out and get it somewhere else without you knowing it. That's the rough part, because they're going to go out and do it anyways, whether you or I or somebody else says, don't do it. Because it's all the type of friends and crowd they hang out with and other influences that make them do what they do. But I hope you don't think what I'm saying is coming down on you. It's just a statement that's out there, if that makes sense. All right. Anyways, DeGaudigo said, my bet is on disgruntled policyholder. Yeah, that too. Yep. Man, you're on fire tonight, DeGaudigo girl. Thank you so much for that. Trey said this, as we learn in the Karate Kid, I love that movie, they care not bad students, only bad teachers. I'll say there are no bad kids, just bad parents. Okay, I'll put it this way to you, short and sweet. How I was raised, I don't want to say flat out I was raised bad, but I was raised very, very strict. I couldn't do anything that my friends were doing. Here's something petty before we go out of here. I wasn't allowed to wear earrings or studs, as they're called back in the day, because my father said if I wore a stud in one of the ears, of course, it had been one of the ears, or you'd be considered, I'm not going to say it. But I wasn't allowed to wear any of that. I wasn't allowed to have long hair. Because my dad would say this, if I came home with an earring in my ear, his words was, again, his words, not mine, we're not going to have any faggots in this house. Yeah, his words. Then if I wanted to grow my hair out, because my other friends were doing it, we're not going to have any hippies in this house. Yeah, hippies. Well, years later, come to find out, my father is actually a bigot. He didn't like any of those type of people. He don't like dark colored skin individuals or African Americans. He don't like brown or Mexican people. He's a bigot. I'm just going to keep it real with you. And he's, enough said. You guys get it. I was raised very strict. I couldn't have certain clothing that the kids were wearing. I couldn't have holes in my knees. I couldn't have a certain style. I couldn't have sideburns. I couldn't have a mustache. I had to be clean shaven to go to school. Yeah, real shit. Rough childhood. Trey said parent equals society. Yeah, absolutely. The Goddard girl said this real quick. Yeah, Cynthia, sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to take their own path. Yeah, absolutely. And then Cynthia said this real quick. I totally understand. That's very true. Yep. And then Vicky agreed. Absolutely. And then John Doe gets in here and says this, your kids will try things rather you want them experiencing with them safe parameters. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. I did things I wasn't told to do. I did things that I wasn't supposed to do, and I did anyways when I was growing up. The guy said this, oh no, parents who are afraid they may have a gay child. Yeah, absolutely. I come home with a hoop earring or a stud in my earring, I'm considered, Bert said, you're a hippie. Well, in order for that to be true, though, I got to have the long hair and the... Oh, you're something else, Bert. Man, love you. LOL. And Debbie said this real quick. The world is not the same anymore. Absolutely correct. I know the generation today couldn't live in my generation. They couldn't make it. They couldn't hack it. Not 5 minutes. Vicky said this. How sad that your dad was like that. Yeah, and that's the reason why, I'm a felon today. Mm-hmm. Oh, if you guys even knew the secrets and how we were raised, you guys would be a lot more understanding and a lot more respectful. Not saying you're not, but you get the point I'm making. Anyway, Cynthia said this, as my dad always said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Amen. Boom. Yep, absolutely. Bert said, you just needed a whooping. Oh, I got a lot of those. Fist, open hand, a switch, a stick, a bat. Everything was used on me, and not just on my butt, in my face. Oh yeah, I got beat. Like a redheaded stepchild. Excuse me. Yep. Bert said I got whipped. Yeah, absolutely did. Me too. Bert said this. My dad was a barber. Oh, and then you got the strap. Oh, when I got my ears lowered, as my dad called it. He used the strap hanging off the barber chair, and said, "If you don't behave, that strap's going to be used on your what? On your rear end." What did I do, Dad? What did I do? Put the fear in me until I grew up and put the fear in him. The last time he hit me was the last time he hit me. I actually hit back. Mm-hmm. Yep. He knows now not to mess with me now. I had a rough childhood. Yeah, and DeGardi goes to this. Oh, no. Yeah, I know. It's very sad. Well, guys, it's getting close to the top of the hour. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please put it in the chat. Let me know what you guys want to see next. As you guys know, we got Friday's night coming up, Man's Night. And we got a show going on for there. Now, again, I can't tell you or guarantee that our co-host Tammy will be there either. Hopefully she will, but if not, you guys understand why. But nonetheless, we got an interesting show for that day too as well. So that starts at 9:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. So don't miss it. Anyways, John said this real quick. Half of the kids today were victims in the making out of sheer ignorance of the way the world works. Oh man, that's I wish I could underline that. Matter of fact, I'm going to pin it just because it's the most important thing here. You hit that right on the button, John. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Bert said, I couldn't grow my hair long. I couldn't grow my hair long. Yeah, I couldn't either. I wasn't allowed. Man, sound like the same kind of childhood that I had. Anyways, Vicky said this real quick. Good for you. Sad it came to that. Yeah, it is. And then John Doe said this, and that ignorance is the fault of whom? Yeah. Gee. And then, of course, Bert said, Dad spanked me once. I got more than spanked, though. Like I said, I got hit with a fist, closed fist, open hand. Yep. Everything. Trey said, abusers were often abused, they said. Yeah, I think that's true. I think my father might have been abused, too. He was the only child in the household. So no competition, no siblings. It was just him. And he was a spoiled, rotten kid. I mean, he was smoking. Get this. He was driving a tractor on the farm and smoking a cigar at 9 years old, 10 years old. Now, if I would have done that at 9, 10 years old, I would have got my ass beat. Excuse my French. Vicky said this. Good night, Jay and everyone. Good night, Vicky. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for checking out one of our hoodies. I appreciate it. And if you do get one, take a picture of it, please, and show the world that you support this podcast. Thank you so much, Vicky. All right, and last but not least, the last few questions, comments coming in. Bert said, I respected my dad. Well, I did at one time, Bert, if this makes any sense. I, however, do not now. Sorry. Even though he's my dad, I've forgiven this man. I've done all that I could on my part, and, it is what it is. He's lied to me, abused me, and hurt me so many times that I don't have any respect. I lost all of it. Count me wrong for that. The Guard Girl said this. Some psychs are predicting many kids will grow up to be narcissists due to their sense of entitlement, spoiledness. Absolutely. Scary that becomes true. Oh, man. Facts. 100% the Guard Girl facts. Thank you so much for that. Cynthia said, but hurt people, unfortunately. Yep, that's the saying. That's why the troll channels exist. That's why the haters exist, because they got hurt, so they want to hurt you. Absolutely. Hurt people. Sad. I understand, Bert said. All right, with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in for tonight's show. I do appreciate it. Now, keep in mind, we got Man's Night coming up, and then, of course, the weekend's off, and we'll be back at it next Wednesday right here in our studios from Inside Out. But major shout out to every single one of you guys that joined the chat tonight and got to be a part of this podcast when it comes to Menendez Brothers. Any new updates when it comes to that case, and other stuff, you'll hear it here first. That's what we do here. All right. So we'll keep you guys updated on the Mendez brothers case and all of that. And I hope you guys will be a part of Friday's show too as well. With that being said, I'm your host, Jay. I will see you guys on the next one. Good night, everybody. Take care. Peace.